Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick video explaining time remapping in Premiere. Time remapping, if you don't know what it is, it's just a way to change the speed of a clip on the timeline. So a lot of video editing programs have something that's fairly similar. It might be called something different. For instance, I think in Sony Vegas it's called velocity, but they all kind of do the same sort of thing, which is either speed up, slow down, or reverse the speed that a clip plays on the timeline. Now, why would you want to use something like this in a project? There's a few different reasons that I like to use it for AMVs. One is that anime tends to be animated at kind of a lower frame rate than other animated, hand-drawn animated films, for instance, in the United States. So instead of 24 drawings a second, there might be like 12 or even 6. So the action is not quite as smooth. Another reason that I like to use it is just to have better control of the motion so that I can match up the sync to the song better. And another reason is sometimes you can use it to create smoother transitions between two different shots that might have a faster or slower speed to the camera movement. So I'm going to show you very quick how I tend to use it in a typical project. This is one that I finished recently that I used it a lot. So I'm just going to show you really quick what the finished product looked like. So there's probably some dropped frames in there. You can kind of tell by this little thing here. It says it dropped at least one. But you kind of get the idea. It's a really fast-paced song. So I was looking for clips that had a lot of movement and a lot of action. And I wanted them to fit the speed and the beats of the song as well as I could. So I'm going to show you really fast a few different ways that you can manipulate the speed of a clip to help with sync. So probably one of the easier ones, you can just right click on a clip on your timeline and then you click on speed/duration, and then you can either type in a speed that you would like, for instance, I don't know, 150, and then you can see the duration changed, it became shorter. Or you can do something like reversing the speed, which will play the same clip backwards. So if we preview it, you can see that she's now running backwards. Or if you just want to do a really quick speed up or something like that. So a little quirk of Premiere that I've noticed is when you do a speed up on a clip, it'll sometimes drag in a frame or so of a previous cut. So if you tend to cut your clips really close to previous cuts, you might get a little leftover frame that can cause popping. So you might need to go in and fix that just to remove that stray frame. But that's one way that you can change the speed of a clip. Another is to go into the effect controls and look at this effect, which is called time remapping. And there's a speed attribute here, and it's called velocity, and you'll see a line that'll say like 100 a second. So your clip will default to 100%. That's the original speed of the clip. So in this case, I have this character running across the screen, and I wanted to get this hit with the bayonet when the audio says hopes. So you can see right now, it's late. So what I want to do is just speed up the clip a bit until that moment where she connects hits on hopes. So what you can do is you can just click on this line and drag it up or down. It tends to be a little finicky to increase or decrease the speed. So I think what I settled on was somewhere around here. that's the general idea. So something you want to be careful of when time remapping is that if you go a little too far, then sometimes it can be fairly obvious. I usually try not to remap by more than 200 because once you start hitting past 150 or 200, it starts to look like it's being sped up a lot and people will notice. I almost never slowed down a clip because Premiere will not draw the in-between frames. It'll just kind of hold frames longer, so it'll look very clippy. So if you want to slow something down, you would actually need a plugin, something like Twixtor, that will draw the in-between frames for you, but that's a whole other thing that I don't even touch. So. But these are the easiest cases that I do time remapping with. What gets more difficult is if you wanted to use different speeds during the same clip. So for here, I wanted to use a particular clip, which I think I still have highlighted here. Let's drag it onto the timeline. Of this guy transforming into a demon. And I wanted it to flow out of this moment where the knife goes over the screen, so that you get a really even transition. So I look for the moment that his head goes off screen. But you can see the original clip is pretty slow. Like, this is a very slow, dramatic scene originally in the anime. But I want to zoom out and this moment of his wings unfurling to hit feeling right around here. So what I ended up doing is right around here or so, I added a keyframe. Maybe a keyframe here just to make sure that this stays at 100. And then you can set this keyframe to a faster speed. Like, I want this pullout to be way faster. I don't know how much faster yet. So if you just do a keyframe like this, it'll make a keyframe in what we would call an animation stepped. So it's just going to go straight from 100 to 182. So still more than that, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Just start going crazy with it. Might even increase the speed here. And I might take off the beginning of this. This is just what I typically do. I'm messing around. So now that's closer. If you want to make this transition into time a little more smooth, you can grab either the left or right side of this keyframe and drag it a little bit. I don't know why it's doing this. Oh, there you go. So then you see it creates a little bit of a ramp so that it's not just going from 100 and 182. I don't usually notice the difference, but it's something you might want to play with. So one last more advanced example from this particular project of time remapping is this clip right here. This has been heavily edited in two ways. One was to flip the footage so that it matches the counterclockwise rotation of these two clips. And the second was to adjust the speed of the clip so that it matches the music. So in the music, it's that always had, which is a fast or a high pitch to a low pitch. So I wanted to start off with a fast spin and then go into a bit of a slower movement. So you can see in the time remapping, I've sped up the beginning a bit and then kind of slowed around here. So you can see in the final result that they spin in fast and then slow down. Which is pretty much what was there in the original. It's just a lot faster because you can see if I pull in the original that this sequence is pretty slow. originally. So it just is a good example of the way that you can manipulate the footage to sort of suit the song that you're using better. One last thing I want to go over really quick is that Premiere has had a long-standing bug where if you do time remapping on a clip and then you want to do something like change the position using keyframes or changing the scale, it will often not accept the changes over time. So you'll only see maybe the initial change and then it won't play the others. So I'm going to see if I can reproduce that bug right now by just changing the scale over time, like something like that, and see if it'll play. So you can see that it's accepting this keyframe at 300, but it's not playing this 100 to 300 part at all, and that's because of this bug. So if you want to do things like changing the position or the scale of a clip over time and you've done time remapping, what you need to do is put it in a nested sequence. So you can already see I've got a few on my timeline. You right click on it and you click nest and then give it a name if you want to. So now it's within its own little sequence here. And then you can do whatever it is that you want to do and it'll actually... Let's do something more dramatic so you can see it actually. Yeah, I don't know why you would ever do this sort of thing. It's mostly for like if you wanna do a Ken Burns or something like that, you're gonna have to do this. It's really annoying and I hope that Premiere fixes it soon. So that's about it. I hope that you found this useful, and if you have any questions, just let me know.